What would you do if the person you trusted most, the one who shared your bed, your dreams, your future, was quietly harboring a secret that could shatter everything? For one man, the beginning of the end came not with an explosion but with whispers. Missed calls. Late nights. A new perfume that didn't belong to him. Small fractures in the foundation of his marriage that widened with every unanswered question. And then came the truth. He hadn't wanted to believe it. At first he clung to logic, she's busy, she's tired, it's just stress. But deep down something had shifted. Her kisses turned mechanical. Her eyes, once so easy to read, had grown guarded. And her phone, always face down, always locked. It wasn't suspicion that drove him to hire the investigator. It was desperation. The kind that steals sleep, turns coffee bitter, makes time stretch unbearably long. When he handed over the cash, his fingers trembled. Not just from the guilt of spying on his wife, but from the terror of what he might uncover. Clara had changed. The warmth in her touch had cooled. Her laugh had become rare, reserved for someone else. He told himself he was overreacting. Until he found the receipt, the Belmont Hotel. A single night stay barely 30 minutes from their home. The date stamped clearly, a night she'd claimed to be working late. His stomach turned to stone. That was the moment the doubt took over. He called Dawson, a retired cop who didn't need much convincing. "You sure you want to do this?" he asked while thumbing through the envelope of bills. He wasn't sure. But he nodded anyway. The first photos arrived a week later. There she was, Clara, sitting across from a man in a navy suit at a cafe he didn't recognize. The man looked older, self-assured, with silver at his temples and a smile that made her laugh, truly laugh, in a way she hadn't with him in months. The sight knocked the breath from his lungs. He scrolled through the pictures, each one another blow. Them walking side by side, her body leaning subtly into his. A fleeting touch of hands. And then the worst, a photo of them outside the Belmont. The man's arm was wrapped around her waist. Her face turned upward, smiling softly, intimately. He stared at that photo until his vision blurred, his nails digging into the edge of the desk. It was no longer a question. It was fact. That night he didn't cry. Didn't scream. He sat in the living room, lights off, the photos spread before him like evidence in a courtroom. He didn't know what he'd say when she walked in, if he'd even say anything at all. At midnight the key turned. Her heels echoed across the hardwood. She paused in the hallway, surprised. "You're still up?" she asked lightly, unaware. Then her eyes found the photos. Everything about her changed. The blood drained from her face. Her breath hitched. The air thickened, grief swirling between them like smoke from something already burned. Not anger. Not yet. Just loss. "I was going to tell you," she whispered eventually. The words were thin, useless. They floated in the silence like ash. He looked at her. Really looked at her. The woman standing in front of him was no longer the woman he had married. She had the same face, the same voice, but she wasn't her. That woman would never have done this. That woman was already gone. His phone buzzed on the table. A known number. He almost let it go. What could possibly matter now? But instinct made him answer. "Is this Mark?" a man asked, voice tense. It was him. Daniel. The man from the photos. Clara's lover. Mark's hand gripped the phone tighter. "What do you want?" he growled. There was a pause. Then Daniel's voice dropped. "She's pregnant." The room tilted. Pregnant. The word echoed through his skull like a gunshot. He looked at Clara. Her eyes welled with tears, not the shallow kind meant to manipulate, but the kind that betrayed truth. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Her silence said it all. His body went numb as he collapsed onto the couch. The phone slipped from his fingers. All this time he thought the worst thing was the affair. But it wasn't. It was this. A new life. A secret future that didn't belong to him. Clara reached out, gently, hesitantly. "Mark, please." He pulled away. There were no words left. No explanations. No salvaging. He rose, his legs unsteady, and walked toward the door. He didn't know where he was going. Only that he couldn't stay. Not in that house. Not with her. Not tonight. Maybe not ever. Behind him, her sobs echoed through the silence like a final goodbye. But he didn't turn around. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed. And some betrayals leave no room for forgiveness, only the quiet sound of footsteps fading into the night.